Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this session today. This is technically the second session in the start of this process. In this one, this is going to be a fun one. We're going to have a couple of activities, but the overall aspect to this session is talking about leadership and also your character. What I'll do is I'll turn it over to William for the next one, and then I'll go in from there to provide more context on the leadership aspect.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Jonathan. So today's icebreaker, we're going to spend about 10 minutes. So roughly 10 minutes. If we don't spend all 10 minutes, that's no problem. But Vanessa, if you're able to start kind of like a timer for our icebreaker today. But overall, we wanted to just ask you, what are the qualities that you see in a leader? And it could be anything that comes to the top of your mind. Why don't we go ahead? I'm fine starting, or like I can popcorn to someone, but actually I'll start first and then I'll popcorn, and we'll just popcorn around until we all kind of say what we see as qualities in a leader. But I think a quality that I personally see in a leader is understanding. So that's just one, or being able to be understanding of the people that you are leading. And so with that, I'll popcorn over to Liliana.
Okay, so a great leader, or qualities of a leader, I see that communication, learn to do teamwork and understand each other. I'll turn it over to Nick.
All righty. Well, what are well, being as everybody in the unsheltered community looks up to me as a leader, somebody that's like somebody else said, understanding, has compassion, somebody that cares about the situation of what's going on and understands it so that they can go out and tell other people. So, a leader's got to be able to lead as well as teach, others what's going on so that they can learn to be leaders as well. So working together. Let's see, I don't have the list of names on here. Who hasn't gone yet? Has Rain gone already?
I haven't gone yet, so I can go, Nick. Thank you. A quality that I see in a leader is someone who is an active listener. And especially as a leader, I feel like you need to hear from a group of people. And this also ties into, I forgot who said communication. I think it was William, if I remember right. But communication is something that I think is very important, especially when working with others, because you can hear others, but I feel like when it comes to truly listening to them and their needs, I feel like that's such a huge aspect to have. So being an active listener is a quality I see in a leader. And then I will pass it on to Vanessa.
Wait, Vanessa, you might be on mute.
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, we can hear you now.
Okay. So some qualities that I see in a leader would be very authentic and...
Class, I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom and I don't want to hear a single...
would be to be authentic and be able to, I think this one was already said, have compassion. No. Let me just popcorn it off to someone else. I think, I'm sorry, who hasn't gone? Raina?
Patricia. Let's do Patricia.
Oh.
Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late. What qualities you see in a leader? Progressive, one that is ready, that's always ready for change, one that can encourage change, one that can bring about change. I think good leaders are, they're not only active listeners, but that they can do change, and they have a group of people that they work with that is eager to change and to add things. I like change. That's it. I don't know who's talked.
I think Reina is the last one then. So go ahead, Reina.
So I think one of the qualities can be open-minded. You have to be able to take different opinions and different ideas from other people. And I think the other one can be just being intelligent and able to take an idea and go with it. So those are the two qualities I believe make a good leader.
All right, awesome. I think we did it all under time. So great job, everyone. It was great to hear all of your thoughts and qualities about what you see in a leader. And with that, I will go ahead and pass it back to Jonathan.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, William. Great conversation. Hopefully that gives you sort of an idea of what we're going to be talking about here, and also the tools on how to evaluate sort of the type of leader you are, because really the reason why you applied and your interest in this climate leader is that you have some sort of experience in being a leader. And so if you still are not really sure that you're a leader, and it's totally fine, because people are in different areas of their life. And that's sort of the opportunity this sort of journey has, is to get you out of your comfort zone and be able to have that shared experience with your group, but also with yourself on what it really means to take the initiative, but also be a leader for your community effectively. So as we see for leadership, it's really referring to influence processes that involve determination of a group or organization's objectives. And motivating task behavior in pursuit of these objectives and influencing group maintenance and culture. I think those three things provide sort of a good context as to what it really means from start to finish, or really what it means from pretty much the start, which is you build goals and you build an objective with your team. Later, you will then have to work with your group to continuously get them motivated to do the actions that will allow them to get to those objectives that they're trying to go for. And as a overall sort of umbrella, you will then be able to really influence the group maintenance and the culture of the thing. And maybe people will be able to, take in what you're learning from here onto other group processes in the future. So with that, I wanted to then follow up sort of with, they're in this sort of activity where we'll be discussing leadership styles. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of this, but as leadership styles, sometimes they like to keep it very generic through animals. In this case, they have 4 types of animals, one being a warrior, which is the buffalo. And it's this type of style, they have more of a goal and task focused. They enjoy challenge and they value action. Whereas the explorer and the eagle, they're high in the sky. They're visionary, they're optimistic, and they value opportunities. A nurturer is a mouse, and the people-oriented is their thing, and they're very value-driven. And they understand that relationship building is really important in all of these processes. And they understand sort of the right, they value sort of the right and fair when it comes to working together. And as a judge, you're considered as the bear, which is the critical thinker, detail oriented, and they value quality. So you'll probably sort of see the differences between the two amongst the four. And so we'll provide sort of an activity for you guys quickly, and seeing what you guys think now that you guys see these sort of styles. Which ones do you think you're at? We could take 30 seconds for folks either to write it in the chat, or if people want to say it out loud on what they believe is their leadership style.
I think Judge Bear. I like to think really deep and then try to figure out the details and the value on how to go about it.
Do you have to only pick one?
Nick's asking the good questions here.
I know, Nick. What are you doing here? Why are you? No, you do not have to pick just one.
Because I mean, for me, it's really all of them. I enjoy challenges. I'm focused. I value action. I'm a visionary and optimistic. I value opportunities. I'm very people oriented, value driven. Relationship building is very important. I value rights and fair. I mean, all those. I'm every single one of those. I'm a bear. I'm a buffalo or a bison, whichever that is. I'm an eagle. I'm mouse. I'm all the above.
I heard that.
I like that.
It's good to hear. Anyone else?
I agree.
You agree, Patricia?
I do.
That's great.
Gotta
We
have,
do it. Oh, go ahead.
for me, I have to have all of it, or I'm not working in all components. You know, I don't want to be a nurturer and that's it.
Sure.
So I gotta have a piece of all of it. I have a question to ask you guys. I have an icebreaker real quick. I'm on my iTablet and I'm at my hospice friend's house. And how do I turn the volume down on these things?
Or
Like turn down the volume on the iPad.
Yes.
There should be like two little buttons on the side, and you can click the bottom one to lower the
Okay.
volume.
All right. Thank you. I never use it. Thank you.
were you able to get figured out, Patricia?
Yep.
Great.
Remember that.
Cool. Moving on to the next thing. You're probably thinking, you know, there must be a better style. And some of you guys alluded to sort of, you guys see yourselves in all aspects, and we'll go more into detail on that in the next slides. But it's important to note that there really isn't a better style. And be realistic that, you know, your style is really your style. Being conscious about that being your style and owning up to it, but also being conscious that they have limitations, and they have limitations in a way to that you only use that style and that style only in every situation, and not look to do other sort of styles. And this is sort of a proverb that come from indigenous communities where when you take in so much of something, you're going to get sick. And this is sort of the same thing. And the idea is that, you know, it's really important to understand your core and to be within your oneself, but don't do too much because you're going to be imbalanced. And so that's why we recommend sort of being able to incorporate other styles. And the reason why is because when you look at sort of the flaws, for instance, those that are bears, they are critical thinkers, and they make decisions based on data and logic, and they're really an integral part in a group. But in excess, that, you know, they really get locked into sort of what to do in a situation. And you have all of this data that's provided to you. Unfortunately, you come to a spot to where you can't move because you don't know how to really go about this data. And that's actually another example called analysis paralysis, if you guys remember that. Those who are eagles, they're big thinkers, big picture thinkers. They're very optimistic and looking for opportunities. And they are also a huge important role into a group. But really in excess, they really lose focus because they get too enthusiastic early on into the process, and then later they get bored. Those who are buffaloes are focused on the goal and striving for it in any way they can, and they are too also an important part, so that they really keep a team on its toes. But in excess, they become very impatient, impulsive, and unfortunately, they tend to hurt people's feelings. And then lastly, those who are mice are focused on interactions and relationships and making sure that the team has the support it needs and providing that emotional aspect to a team. But in excess, they can be taken advantage of in reality. They internalize anger, they assume blame, and then it's really hard for them to deal with conflict. But as you can see, as we talked about, incorporating in some aspects all of these will allow you to be able to keep in your core, because that's really the key. And I'm glad Nick was able to think of that. I'm glad Patricia was able to think of that, and hopefully others were able to as well. The idea is to really use your leadership style and incorporate others so you can reach the objectives for your group. And as said before, understanding that you will have a primary style that you roll with because it's helped you so far. But sometimes even good to really incorporate other things, because realistically, you're going to deal with a lot of folks. And there may be times where you might be the only leader. So sometimes you're going to have to do your absolute best to be able to adapt to something to where, there might be times where people will need someone who's more motivated. And so you'll definitely have to be that buffalo who's able to get the team back on track. And so there's just a lot of those things. And that's why this is considered a holistic approach. And we're hoping during this time of the climate leaders, either if you're haven't been able to hone in on a specific skill, on a specific style, maybe you'll be able to get that chance going forward. And so leading on to this, I really wanted to provide sort of a group exercise. I think this is a really fun activity that will allow us to kind of get a feel on how we are in terms of decision making. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look first. We have 10 people. And with that, I'm pretty sure we have, no worries, Anthony. Thank you so much. So how many, we have climate leaders. There are 7 climate leaders, correct? So what I think what we're going to do is we're going to do either 5 teams each of 2 to 3 people. And from there, we'll be able to work with each other. Think about 10 different uses for this paper coffee cup. And of course, you can't cheat by saying, oh, it can hold a specific liquid, whatever it is, because a lot of people like to do that just to add to the list. And understand that you might not be able to get 15 uses, and that, that's totally fine. So let me first create breakout rooms 5. We'll go over here.
Can you can you recycle the cup? Like, can you
So that's
Can you
one
like
way.
cut it and like reuse it, do something else?
You
Is
can
that,
use,
like,
you
does
can
that count?
use, yeah, you can use it wherever you want.
Okay. It doesn't have to be it's that shape, right?
No, it does not have to be its
Okay.
original shape.
Okay.
Hopefully that gives you more opportunities. Okay, and I believe we're going to do this for 7 minutes. Time will go by very fast. I want to make sure we have a timekeeper ready for it, and we'll be able to go within your guys' groups. I believe there's only going to be one person that is that is by themselves, but I will have someone move over to there, and then we'll go from there. Sound good? Any other questions? No. All right, here we go.
Oh, shit. I just knocked my join out. I'm trying to close something. Can you send my join again?
Sure.
Please, thank you.
Let's see, Pat. It should be that you guys are.
Let me
Those
see
are-
if it went behind me. No. It said something. I said not now. I thought it was my update.
Well, if you go down, okay, so let me, unfortunately, I'm not going to. Okay, maybe it should work now. Right, Pat? Liliana, is it working for you guys?
What is the camera or the whole?
No, the breakout rooms. I added the
Oh,
rooms.
no, I don't have that breakout room. Sorry.
Interesting. Okay, let me.
Oh, join the room?
Yes,
Inviting you to join the room.
yes, correct. Okay, there you go. Pat, you should be able to get in now. Unfortunately, I can't really force you.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Maybe go. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't
iPhones.
scroll. I go to options up here. Let's see, participant, share, video, leave.
Okay.
Let me see.
Vanessa, are you
Okay,
able?
yeah. Now, okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Vanessa, are you able to join?
Do I join a breakout room?
Yeah, you can if you like. I think Raina's by herself, so you can join.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
no, I wasn't able to get in to a group meeting.
Totally fine. What we're going to do, Liliana, we're going to work together on this.
Okay.
We'll just have you. Is everyone back? No one's chilling in the breakout room, awkward, like by themselves. I think Anthony's still.
Anthony, you should have seen the thing, but yeah, maybe do you want to send me back there and I can try and bring him back out?
I'll just. I mean, it's technically going to close soon. Unfortunately, I can't seem to bring him back because I can't force people. So that's why it's kind of difficult because the person has to accept that accept the assignment to go to a room. I can't like force them like, okay, you're going to move this way. You're going to move. Okay, here he should be back. No, yes. How is Euphrosyna? She's pinned. Okay, cool. Okay, here we go. Now he should be. Anthony, are you back? No? Yes? No, I guess he's not. This is weird.
He's still in this, right?
He said his internet was spotty, so
Yeah, his internet was being spotty, so maybe like he had to hop off. Nick, are you able to maybe like send him a quick text and just let him know like, hey, like come, come back? It's been over more than a minute, so he should be back.
Brother Adrian.
Yeah, I'll have my wife text him.
All right, for sure. Okay, but I think everyone else should be here. Thanks everyone for coming back. Hopefully that was great conversation. And so with that, I really want to give sort of set the stage for folks to share out what are some ideas they had. I think Liliana and I had some really good ideas, and we're hoping that they weren't taken. So please report out if anyone can.
How many should we report out, like, so that maybe we could all, like, as a collective, try to get to 15?
Okay, yeah, so let's do 3. Each team 3.
All right, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, let's have the climate leaders be the ones to do it. Oh wait,
I mean, like our
technically-
groups.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, why don't we start with Liliana, and then we can popcorn through all the climate leaders.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Liliana.
Okay, so for this cup, I envision a sewing push pin. Also, between the two of us, me and my partner, Jonathan, we discovered it could be a pencil holder, pencil cup holder. And another one I thought about was a bird's nest.
Let's do a next group.
Do we randomly go, or are we gonna do popcorn again?
No, go ahead. Let's
Okay.
go randomly. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So I was working with Pat B, and we came up with 14. So Pat, I'm just gonna choose randomly select 3 on our list. For one of the 3, we have a coin bank, and you see the top of the lid. We just do a little incision, and then you can like put duct tape around so you can't open it and keep your money in there. And then another one is for golfing. You know, the hole in one. So you can take off the lid and just the ball can go in there. And then the last one is using it to draw, especially the top part. If you take off the lid again, it can be used to like draw a big circle, and in the bottom you can make it a smaller circle. So that's our 3.
Okay.
Me and Nick came up with 3 as well. I really like the ideas he would come up with. They were very very creative. The first one was to use it as a like a plant holder, like to plant something in it. And then another one was to like fill it up with water and like water your plants with it, put the lid on top and then like water your plants. And then another one was to put like your phone in there, or like a little speaker inside of the cup, and it would like make it louder. And we came up with that because we were like talking about how we used to do that. And like, yeah, and it actually like makes the like the speaker or the music sound way louder. So those were like our top 3 ideas.
Okay.
Great. Who's next?
And we have Raina and Anthony left.
I'll go first. So all of our ideas were taken, but me and Liliana came up with you can turn it into a lamp. You can use it as a toy for your pet, so you can tie a string and just make the pet just play with it. And you can also make it into a piñata. So
All right, and then Anthony, do you want to speak on our groups ones, or do you want me to go? All right, no, I can go. I know that Anthony's having some technical difficulties, and that's totally okay. Anthony had said to use the lid as a coaster, and I thought that was kind of a cool way to think of it. Another thing that he was saying was to cut it open and use it as like a scratch board or like a blueprint board or like a whiteboard. And then the last one was to we said like, oh, like you can make like a little house with it and draw like windows and stuff. So those were our three.
Very interesting. Did anyone actually get to 15? Okay, William. Anyone else? No one else? Well,
it was me and Anthony, just so you know.
So let me sort of share the one that I did previously on my own just to get an idea. And then I searched up other folks, what they've done. So like this one, for instance, is very different. You want to talk about holding pens? How about holding your whole desk and your school supplies? I know that's that looks like paper, like not really sturdy paper cups, but I mean, it works. And then of course, if you ever use the telephone sort of things, I know I've never done that, but I know that's a typical sort of a toy that a lot of people have with their kids. I wasn't able to reach that peak of a childhood. But the reason why we had this sort of activity was a way to really see how people are thinking, their perspectives, and seeing if it aligns with other people's ideas. And with that, with different ways to collaborate in a team, it brings in different personalities. And then, as you saw, there were many uses that you probably didn't know. And that's really the beauty of collaboration, is that, everyone working all together, you could bring out a lot of ideas. And funny enough, I think that's based off of the sort of the schedule we had on the agenda. We do have sort of a break after this, but I wanted to give sort of a time check. Vanessa, how are we doing so far? It's totally fine. We're kind of breezing really right through all of these. But I think it's also because we're people are having good ideas, and then we're moving on to the next one. But I mean, we can always start with a, go on with the break. Everyone is back on, correct? I wanted to make sure, Raina, Christina. Great, thank you, Raina. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Welcome back. In this section, we first started talking about, leadership and leadership traits. And this time we're going to be talking about sort of character strengths. For those who don't know,
and yeah.
And I need to up that pro internet account. I'm telling you, I'm struggling. I'm sailing the struggling seas. Okay, thank you guys for being patient. So, okay, cool. There you go. You guys can see it. In this section, we're really talking about character strengths. And through character strengths, we'll be taking in sort of a lot of the information coming from the Viet Institute of Character, which is where you guys took your survey from. The really definition of character strength is that the core personal traits that really define the unique identity, your unique identity, and allows you to feel authentic and engaged in life. And there has been research done, and I sometimes like to provide sort of references on what research has done for things, and it has actually shown that when you learn about your strengths and really understand how to express them and incorporate them, all of this is where you can become more productive at work and better connected to others. Because at the end of the day, you're really collaborating with each other and sharing your guys' strengths. And with that said, I really wanted to make sure provided really some detail. I mean, we provide details through emails, but really reiterate sort of the reason for the survey. This sort of survey is actually widely used across the United States, and it's considered 90% accurate when it comes to honing in on what your character strengths are. Was everyone able to do the survey, or was there any amount of were there any folks that weren't able to do it? For those who were not be able to work on it, it's totally fine. We'll be able to work with each other on that to be able to get in sort of those results, because it is important going forward as to why we want to really see sort of where you're at in this process, and see if there's any areas you would like to work on. But if you did the survey, you would probably know that it is very long. It was probably took a lot longer than usual, but there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is that with the more questions, it becomes more detailed, and the more detailed of what the results will be. And when you started the survey, you had to sign up with an email, and the reason for the email is so that you're allowed to have your results forever. And if you weren't able to download, of course, there was the opportunity to screenshot the results. I, of course, was a person that screenshotted it, but I did not realize on the very bottom of your survey, it says you can actually download it. But as long as you made a profile, you can always refer back to it, and that becomes very convenient. Once you were done with the survey, you were given your results, which displayed them similarly to the picture that's on the right. And these results were categorized in 3 areas. And in these 3 areas, they break it down by signature strengths, middle strengths, and lesser strengths. In the next slide, I'll go more into what those strengths mean, specifically signature strengths and lesser strengths, but not middle strengths. And the reason why is because middle strengths are strengths you're already using occasionally, but not as often as your signature strengths. And so that's sort of the reason for that. Let's check the chat. Thank you, William. In here, we have sort of the definitions of what it means for the signature strengths and lesser strengths. I actually don't really like them considering, I don't know why they're called lesser strengths, but think of them as really underutilized strengths, where some areas that you haven't been able to really hone in on yet, but doesn't mean you're not going to hone in on them. There are ways where you'll be able to utilize them, sharpen your tools, and be ready for the next time when you'll be able to use these strengths. These strengths are the strong signature strengths are really the ones that your core things that create you as a person. And you're able to really display these in any given situation because it's natural. And then with lesser strengths, like we said, it's underutilized. These are the ones, oh, you can't really see my picture of mine. That's weird. Oh, there you go. That's why I had added a little cool transition there. Just kidding. These are my lesser strengths, actually. Forgiveness, perseverance, humility, perspective, and prudence. I could see why, but we'll be able to discuss with each other as to what we see sort of with our lesser strengths and what we see within our signature strengths. Because what we're going to be doing is really working on breakout sessions. And what we're going to be doing is breaking out into 2 groups, and we'll be able to have 4 to 5 people within a group. What's different about this is that we're going to have folks, those that are climate leaders. One of you guys will be able to be a moderator. And the idea is to have each person be able to share out only their signature strengths. We'll work on the lesser strengths in the next breakout session. And we want to be able to provide what your top 5 is. But before we break into sessions, remember for questions to think about. It's, do these results accurately reflect you? Why or why not? And then in what ways and situations do you use any of these signature strengths? And hopefully from there, they'll start building conversation and learn more about each other. So let me go in from there to do breakout sessions. Anyone have any questions in regards to this before we break out? Great, no questions.
All right, Jonathan, are you starting to assign folks?
Yep,
I
should be ready now.
Just make sure that I think maybe if it's possible, could we reduce it to the 10-minute sessions instead?
That's totally fine. I think we should be able to. Continue the recording. Apologize for the going over the time, but this part is important just for context wise. Hopefully you guys were able to get sort of a feel of what it takes with these surveys. Folks were providing their thoughts that, they didn't agree with some of the things. And maybe it's just because, as what Pat was saying, you chose things based off of neutral. And you chose neutral instead of choosing one side or the other. And so it probably caused the algorithm to put you in a thing where, unfortunately, you scaled higher for this other thing. And so we're going to have to place you that way. But over time, the idea is to, it's going to change. And actually, when you do these surveys, your things are going to move around. And for those who don't know, the words themselves are not the same. They actually, there's about 200 choices of words. So it's not where all of them were changed within the thing. Everyone has different ones. So like, for instance, someone said they had this thing and I don't even have that on my survey. So everyone gets their own thing. But what we're going to do is to really hone in on your lesser strengths, choose those ones that you feel, or if you want to do another one, feel free. The idea is to have you get as much as you can out of this. And if you felt you didn't really provide sort of an honest survey before, feel free to do another one. That's where it's really important, so that you can really work on those things. Because throughout your climate leader journey, you'll be able to work on it. And by working on it yourself, you'll also be able to work on it with each other. Now that could be, letting folks know right offhand, you are trying to work on this sort of strengths, or you could just indirectly say, I'd like to get involved because unfortunately there's an area where I need more work on. And so I would like to put myself in doing more of this thing. Those are different situations you can do. And then the idea also is for us, William, Bianette, and I, to help you guys out on your journey, as well as onto your really honing in on those strengths, and be able to work on each other with one-on-one. If that's really what it takes, we can do that. Because realistically, we're all in this together for the betterment of the Stockton community. And this is something that you can take away and then share with your group as well. The viacharacter.org is the website that you can share. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have. Oh, and last thing, it is recommended that if you have done the survey and you want to redo it officially, you do it from the beginning of the year. So you're technically in the beginning of the year, and do it again at the end of the year. That's where you can get sort of a different feel where you're at. And that's it.
All right,
end,
awesome. Thanks so much, Jonathan. Thanks so much, Jonathan, for your presentation. Really great. Just want to give a quick update to you all. I know we're a little over time, so I just want to go quickly, is that we are going to send out the recordings for this, as well as the second survey tomorrow, roughly tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, depending on how commuters work. We'll get those out to you. Please try to get those filled out before our next session, which is going to be on March 2nd, again at 5 o'clock. So please try to get those session surveys completed by like Monday at 5 o'clock. And then for those who may not have completed the first post-session survey, I'll send out a link, because we do have a couple people who haven't been able to fill that out. So please just go ahead and complete that as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly at my email, wm@phadvocates.org, and I can either connect you with either Jonathan, Bianette, or Vanessa, or send your message their way if you have any questions for them too.
March what?
Of which is
March when?
Oh, March 2nd is our next meeting.
Okay.
And that one's going to be discussing clean air.
Yes.
Air
so
quality.
I'll send out that reminder tomorrow, along with a calendar invite for next week.
All
and
right.
with that, are there any questions for folks?